Alright, welcome back to Super OP Leaderboard Platoons. I almost forgot what I was about to record. Anyway, last time I was playing around with a bunch of Merkava main battle tanks, and at the 4th slot there we had a Sabra Mark 1, but next week that platoon will be upgraded with a Merkava Mark 3, I believe. There is a new Merkava coming up that I'm definitely going to be driving, so I can't wait to see what that platoon will be in, obviously in performance. Quad Merkava is about to be very toxic. I can't wait to see how much nasty that platoon will be. But anyway, we have Quad Abrams main battle tanks. I actually wanted to try this platoon for a very long time. I mean, I did the T-series platoon with the T80, T72 and the T90. This is kind of the Abrams equivalent of that. Now, the main difference is that usually, for the most part, most of the vehicles in this platoon are tech tree vehicles that you can get for free, basically. Only the Desert Storm M1 is the premium one, technically, but in any case, let's see how this platoon will perform. Now, as we had seen in the last video with the M1 Desert Storm, then this vehicle does have some very good maneuverability, very good overall speed, decent armor and a decent rate of fire. In general, when you're playing main battle tanks, you have to pick which vehicle does suit your play style the most. I like vehicles that are fast. Armor doesn't really matter much to me. I aim for a good gun and good armor. Anything else is just a extra. In this vehicle, for example, you do get some decent speed and decent armor, but in this whole platoon, being an Abrams platoon, does seem to be one of the more balanced ones within the platoons that I've played so far and that I've uploaded so far. Mainly because their performance is generally speaking the same. You will not encounter a lot of issues when swapping between. If you, let's say, if your Desert Storm Abrams gets destroyed, if you jump in the HC one, it's going to perform like the Desert Storm. Like, there's very little difference between the tier 13 vehicles. The IPM one is a little bit different. It does have a lower caliber main cannon, and the M1 Abrams, the classic one, the rank 12 one, the tier 12 one, is also very similar to the IPM one. So overall, you do have Abrams tanks with 120mm cannons, and you do have the Abrams with 105. Now in this platoon, the HC and the Desert Storm will be your primary Abrams main battle tanks. They are your primary and secondary vehicle. The other M1 and IPM1 are your third vehicle, secondary vehicles. If your first two get destroyed, you can pick between the M1 or the IPM1, depending which one you need more, depending on which one you actually want to drive in that situation. So you do have a lot of options within this platoon. When it comes to performance, I mentioned that I talked about performance. So, for the short vehicles so far, now it does get to top speed very quickly. All four vehicles will have a gas turbine engine, basically a jet engine in a tank that's created, and obviously they will suck a lot of fuel doing so, naturally, as any tank does. But you know, with these vehicles it's a little bit different. After all, they are turbine engines, different from diesel engines that we see on some of the other tanks and engines that they're using. Oh look, another Desert Storm destroyed. Okay, that's a good one. And it's vehicle destroyed number 5. Now actually, it managed to get some very decent battles. Well, that's another one. The M1A1 is actually very popular as a top tier. I see a lot more of the Desert Storm than the T80 UKs. I think that's primarily because of the reverse speed. Most players prefer a good reverse speed, and the T80 UK, I actually have to double check the reverse speed, but I think it's 5 km/h. In any case, it can't be better than the Abrams reverse speed, because it's, we all know how those T-series reverse gears work, and they're practically non-existent. And that's my main issue with these vehicles, the reverse speed, because having no reverse speed is actually putting you at a disadvantage in combat, because you can go back quickly if you have to. If you mess up, you usually get popped. That's the thing with these vehicles. But with other vehicles, you do get a reverse speed. Now, the T-series vehicles do have some advantages. They have some very good cannons. They have very good damage, and in general, they're definitely good frontal armor and good turrets. But only the reverse speed if it were better. In any case, 6 destroyed vehicles so far. And we are running around now. Usually when I play tactical, I go to one position, destroy all vehicles at that one position, and then I usually capture the zone or protect the zone, and when the whole side is clear, I progress forward and I go do other objectives. That's usually, from my experience, that ends up being the best solution to get the highest possible score and to, in most cases, ensure either a victory, or if it's not a victory, it will be a very good defeat. That will be basically like a victory. So tactical tactics are everything, and I play tactical, and I try to play smart. For the most part, I try to play smart. After all, this is War Thunder after all, and you can't really just run around like you have hellbars. One good hit and bye-bye tank, pretty much. Okay, let's go and play the M1A1 HC. Now this is a tech tree vehicle, same tier as the Desert Storm, just not a premium vehicle, but you can make it premium if you like. This vehicle is fairly decent actually. I have enjoyed it quite a bit. It has decent overall armor, decent speeds. I mean, same what I said about the Desert Storm Abrams, you can say the same thing about this Abrams. Very maneuverable, very good cannon, overall decent armor. It is not going to let you down as a secondary vehicle. Very good reloads as well. It will get the job done, and now we will have some fun with the HC. So, I mean, it's kind of funny because it does feel like I'm playing the same vehicle over and over again, honestly. But I feel like that's kind of the point of having these custom platoons, because if your primary tank pops, you can get a vehicle that's going to be just like your primary vehicle, so you can keep on playing and you don't have to leave battle. That's just one, I guess that's just one little example of what you can do, I guess. That's also what I try to do with the T-Series platoon, but I think I have to redo that one because I think we have a lot more T-90s that I didn't play. There's a lot of T-80s as well that I didn't play, and a bunch of T-72s that I also did not play. Oh, there's also the T-55s that has like 1,000 different variants that I also want to play. So there's definitely a lot of options to make some pretty crazy platoons, and I'm going to be trying them all out one by one. That's going to be something I'll be doing here, I guess. Alright. That's ouch. That revenge bomber one was disgusting. My highest ever revenge bomber strike was like 10, I believe, or like the whole enemy team. It was the Rhineland map, and the whole enemy team was at one spot. I got the IL-28H, 4 revenge bombs and missiles, just wiped the whole enemy team out. That was absolutely insane. I think I recorded it actually. Happened a long time ago. I don't know where the clip is anymore. I made like 9,000 videos so far in this game, so yeah. I will try to find it, but I think I already don't know where it is. Way too many videos to account for. I just realized how many videos I made. Kinda crazy actually. Anyway, we are at 7 destroyed. 7 destroyed vehicles. That's lovely. That's lovely, that's for sure. Thanks to that revenge bomber run, that was the primary reason why I had so many so many different vehicles now, but we are already surpassing the Desert Storm in score. Now, obviously, this isn't a direct vehicle comparison, although it could be, I guess, but at the same time, the vehicle will do well as much as the player will do well. You can have a...
Just keep it up, and victory will be ours.
You can have various different vehicles. Some players will be good with some vehicles, some players will be good with others. I know that from my personal experience and from my personal overall gameplay experience primarily. Well, that's destroyed vehicle number 8. Okay. So far, looking really good. And again, I follow my tactic that I talked about before. I go to a position, destroy all enemy tanks, advance, capture, and hopefully, actually never mind, I'll just try to see what I can. There's only one vehicle at my side, but a bunch of more vehicles on the other side of the map. Now, if you manage to hold this particular spot, you basically have the zone B completely open, and usually I go here because you can guard 2 zones from one position, and if you capture A, you can easily capture B at the same time. So from a tactical position, an advantage, this zone right here is definitely the one that you should be going for usually at the very early start of the battle. 11 destroyed vehicles, yikes. Well, definitely surpassing the score of the M1A1, the Desert Storm variant of the vehicle. And again, it really depends from player to player. Sometimes you'll do well in one vehicle, sometimes another vehicle. At the end of the day, all depends on the player. The vehicle, good or bad, the vehicle will perform as much as the player will perform. And that includes all the vehicles that we have in the game at the moment. So, zone is captured. Let's see, where should I go next? Well, let me take advantage of that reverse speed. Yeah, it's a very good reverse. 40 km/h, 40, yeah, it's nice. 42 km/h reverse, perfect. Much better than 5, that's for sure. Can easily go back. To safety with that, and that's why a lot of players will probably opt out to get one of these vehicles because of the speed that you get. And I believe this is the part where things go a little bit wrong. I should have just went forward. I shouldn't have stopped there. I should have stopped right at the entry there. Should have stopped at the entry there on the staircase. But yeah, a little mistake. And I think in this, I think I am not going to survive this encounter. In any case, overall it was a very good battle. Could have been maybe a little bit better. Maybe could have got like 12 destroyed vehicles. But you know, I'll take 11. I'm not gonna complain about that. It's already good enough. Already good enough. And I'm about to get flanked, I believe, from the side.
We have the advantage.
Yeah, I think from the side. And yeah, okay, well, fair enough. It was still a good run though. Not going to complain. 11 destroyed vehicles, and we won. That was a good battle. Okay then. Well, that leaves us with the last vehicle of the video for today, the IPM-1. So the IPM-1, as I mentioned before, generally speaking, it does feel like an Abrams. It is an Abrams. It does drive like an Abrams. It has about the same features as an Abrams, but the only difference between the first 2 vehicles is the main cannon. It has a 105mm main cannon. So, well, small caliber overall. The shells are also a little bit weaker. Doesn't have the same amount of penetration, but you know, it doesn't really matter. It's still got APSSDS shells, and it's going to be still more than enough for weak spots. After all, you are going to be aiming at weak spots anyway, so you can still destroy pretty much all the enemy vehicles that you'll be encountering. And that shell did overpenetrate through the lower plate of the T-80 UK, and it went into a M1 Desert Storm, which I didn't even see. That's another hit in the ammo. Somehow that thing is still alive. Let me see if the next shell will do the job. Yes, there it is. But I hit something else. A lot of vehicles are just clumped up at that spot. There's also unfortunately so much smoke. I don't see what's going on. I'll fire a couple of shells blindly. Hopefully that people hit something. It did hit something at least. Although I'm not really sure if it did any damage because it doesn't show. That's a wall. There's a vehicle over there. I fired one more shell. Nothing happened. That's a Fiat rat. That's a rat, and I got hit by the rat. Lovely. Well, okay. I guess it's a repairing time now. What's a Fiat doing here? That's a rat vehicle. I need to make a rat platoon. There is some vehicles that are definitely very ratty that I need to play. I already have an idea of what to do with them. A whole rat platoon, that's going to be pretty funny. Okay, that's a good hit. Actually, that's a very good hit. Did that hash shell just bounce off the ground and just go underneath the vehicle? That's actually one of the craziest hits I've done in a very long time. Maybe I should spam high explosive like that. Ping pong hash shells, lovely. Hash shell is magic. Even 105 millimeter can still do a pretty hefty amount of damage actually, as we could see. A hefty amount of damage actually. Well, it might be time for me to move forward, and despite me being in the IPM1, I'm actually still holding first place in the team, which is actually surprising because I'm driving an inferior vehicle to what we have in the team. I'm fairly sure there's higher tier vehicles within the team and overall better vehicles within the team, but I'm still holding first place, which is interesting actually. I didn't expect to hold first place, but here I am. Oh look, a tortoise. And it bounced, the tortoise. Oh look, there's a Storm Abrams, or it's, yeah it is, Karoo knocked out, that's a good hit. Tortoise ammo is right there, and boom, ammunition destroyed, beautiful. What's the tortoise doing in this tier? I have absolutely no idea, but it was here I guess. Not a good idea to bring that vehicle in top tier. That's not going to do well because the tortoise is already struggling in its own tier. The tortoise is such a... I would love to try that thing, but man, that weak spot is just... That weak spot is just, you know, two weak spots actually, two huge weak spots, and it makes driving the vehicle a pain. I might try to drive it, but I am fairly sure I'm not going to do well with it. I don't really see a lot of tortoises being used, unfortunately. It's such an interesting vehicle, but the weak spots are what's annoying. And the weak spots are very annoying, and the ammo, the ammo on that thing is also awkward, very awkward. Maybe the vehicle is better now. I have to check it out again. After all, we did lose the platoon system, so that might be interesting to see how that will run, how that will work. Well, that's 7 destroyed vehicles. I did not expect that score, honestly. I expected a bad score, not a good one. Well, I guess a pleasant surprise at the end of the day. So, this is the Abrams platoon, as I like to call it, the super OP Abrams platoon. Basically, you get all the Abrams vehicles in one single lineup, and honestly, for leaderboard farming, I do like this particular setup for leaderboard farming. I think you could get some very good scores with this particular platoon if you prefer to drive this type of vehicle. Of course, you can make mixes, but you can mix the vehicles if you like. However, overall, I do like how this platoon works so far. And with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed. If you would like to support me, feel free to like and subscribe. And with that being said, stay safe as always. I'll see you next time.